Welcome to the App Advisory Show, your fortnightly dose of all things cloud accounting, apps, and app advisory.
Hey guys, Matt back again. Session 7 around the ultimate guide to app advisory. So, what we're going to touch on here was about pricing ranges for some of the services in app advisory. We've touched on this already, but I just want to go through a couple of key points and cover those off. So, every single service needs to have a price, a process, and a decision on who's going to be resourcing it. But we definitely need to think about the ranges of pricing for each of those services, because that allows us then to tell clients when they are interested in something we've got that it's going to be from this to this, at least something to start with. And I think sometimes it's just too open-ended, which means that the client can lose a bit of confidence in you know what you're going to be delivering. Okay, so we do need to think about that's why it's important. And also, one of the key things from what I found in general around people delivering these projects is there's still this big push towards doing, sending a bill in arrears of the project, right? Well, that's not great because all the risks are on you. If the client goes missing during the project, you've done 50% of the work and haven't been paid for it. So I'm a bigger fan of putting project milestones in. If you're going fixed price on the job. So what do I mean by that? If we do an example plan of that project, the project costs £1,000. Let's say it's a standard implementation of a cloud accounting with some training. It could be £1,000 overall, 50% up front. It could be 30% once we've had a document created, or the system's been delivered, or it's been trained, training started to happen, and then 20% to be signed off. That gives you, we're getting some money in for kicking off the project, and it also means that the client is committed, which means then you're working with committed clients. If somebody says yes to a project but won't put any money down and somebody else will, then you work on the people who put the money down, because then you're working on people who are committed to it, right? So it also shows commitment from the client. In this part, we've got adoption services. So again, we've got those median levels, optimization services, which we spoke about in an earlier session as well, and maintenance services there. Now, what you need to be thinking about is, there's a table here. So if you listen to this in the actual guide, there is a table here where you can start to build out what your services are. So you list your services down the left-hand side, and then your next column is high rate, your next column is low rate, and then the final column is median. So what you should be doing for all the services that you are offering, and maybe you haven't formalized that they're a service, but you do deliver those as tasks for certain projects, or they're brand new services that you're bringing into the world, then essentially you need to list them down, put your high rate, your low rate, and your median, and you've got something to work from then to start to build out your own set of services with their pricing. So you should start to think about how you can build that out. So what we really want then is we've got a list of services and we've got price ranges. So when somebody asks or somebody shows some interest and they say, oh, that sounds really interesting, if you could do that for me, or what's the next steps? And you say, well, you would need our digital health check service, and the price range is from this to this, and this is the differentiation on price. Or it could be, if you say, we can offer you a digital health check, the first obvious next question is, okay, so how much is that going to cost? Could you give me an idea of costs on that? So it's important we do think about the services, and then we think about the ranges. Key element as well around here is the app advisory KPIs and targets, right? So we need to be able to track things to understand where we're doing. So if you're in adoption, you'll have adoption KPIs, and your adoption KPIs will be taking clients over to cloud, and maybe thinking also about the CAP 1.0. So you're taking them across, and they've got bank feeds set up, and they've got invoice automation, and it's running monthly. So you're adopting properly. So there is some adoption KPIs. There's some automation KPIs that we should definitely be thinking about. So in the automation KPIs, what we're looking at here is ensuring that we are, let's say in invoice automation world, what we're looking to do there is, yes, we've got people using the tool, but are we using auto publish? Have we got the clients submitting the paperwork into the system rather than us scanning? So again, those are some of the areas that you can think about in terms of automation KPIs. So moving through, so essentially automation KPIs, we're just trying to remove manual elements, which there will be a feature or a function within our existing tech stack that we can switch on to remove some of that manual. Obviously as well, we want to keep an eye on fee KPIs and track those KPIs depending on whether you're doing migrations or training or digital health checks. We should be trying to capture those KPIs to the service level and building those targets against those service levels and also the adoption levels and automation levels. Now, in terms of capturing these KPIs, personally, I like to try and take an idea of what the KPI should be quarter on quarter to begin with. So we get like a 12-month view. So we can see how many clients we're looking to put onto cloud, how many digital health checks we should be running, how much automation we want to see. Is the current automation auto-published 10%? We want to be 50% by year end. We want to try and set that up for as a longer period as possible, and then we want to track that monthly. So each month we should be having a sanity check to check that we're running okay, and we're hitting or working towards those targets, and then quarterly doing a bit of a deep dive on those particular KPIs and see how we're hitting. Two reasons that it's great to track things. It's great to look forward and have something to work towards, but it's also great to see what you have done, because I think we always focus generally on what we haven't done, and we've done a lot. So we need actually to make sure that we do understand what we have done and what has been progressive that maybe we're taking for granted. So that's another reason to be thinking about those. Sample KPI spreadsheet here. We've got in adoption, clients on cloud and clients on invoice automation. And then to the right, we're going to have the target and the actual, the target and the actual. So we're starting to track actuals against the target. Clients on invoice automation. Again, this is a template. You can add as much as you want. It could be automation improvement. We also keep an eye on apps implemented and apps recommended. So the apps implemented is just to give us a run of what we're working to and make sure that we've got some reference to that ongoing. Apps recommended. This is just to keep a feel on, actually, we seem to be recommending this type of app quite a lot. Should we be doing more with it? Just so, are we marketing enough? Are we discussing it enough? Or is this just a general trend we're starting to see, so we need to be a bit more knowledgeable? So that's important for that. And then the fees, scoping fees, implementation fees, reoccurring fees, training fees, supporting fees. Now those types of fees there you can see linking with the adoption and the optimization and maintenance. This reoccurring fee, this is to keep an eye on something where you're winning work, which might be bookkeeping or outsourcing or annual accounts or some sort of specialist work, where you've won that because of your knowledge of cloud. So it's an indirect sort of fee. That's an area you can keep on that. Now, in terms of other KPIs that you could also be keeping an eye on, with the firms I've worked with in our some of our scale programs, etc., we keep an eye on how many opportunities have come in, whether that's client or prospect, what projects we've got, resource levels. We do automation targets, case studies, testimonials, educational webinars, marketing emails, blogs, firm internal comms, those types of things where we're starting to track, great, what's happening sort of transactionally, how many extra numbers and money, but then what about our education outward? How are we evidencing to people that we're doing this work, and how are we educating some of our existing clients and new prospects that this is a world that they could consider and be relevant for them. So also important in that space around KPIs. Okay guys, I will leave it at that. That's around the 10-minute mark, and I will see you on the next session. Cheers guys.